Hey, what's up? This is Zach here in Barcelona, day two at Algorand's Decipher event with Abdul from Gora. Super excited to be with you. How are you doing today?
Hey man, I'm doing good. I appreciate you taking the time here to interview me.
Awesome. So, before we kind of kick stuff off, could you give us a little bit of an introduction, like your name, the company, and your role?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Abdul Osman. I work at Gora. I manage the team, do also a bit of software development. I founded it about 3 years ago, trying to get off-chain data. So whether it's sports data, price data, insurance, or even allow smart contracts to do heavy computations off-chain and get anything needed on-chain. Because blockchains are like closed; they can't access anything from the real world. So it's limited in terms of real world utility until you have that real world data, right? And so we focus a lot on getting financial data, sensor data, and sports and things like that. And hopefully soon allow smart contracts to export heavy computation. So like you want to do some machine learning or you want to do like heavy, bonding curve math that you can't do on chain, you could do it decentralized on our network.
What's the value? Like, what's the main sort of advantage to that?
Yeah, so I'll give a basic example because a lot of this is fairly technical. It helps to hear a use case. So flight delay insurance, right? You took a plane to get here. Every company has like flight delay insurance. If your flight is delayed by 2 hours, you get a rebate or some money back. But the process now is like you make a claim, you send the paperwork, you wait. But with a smart contract on blockchain, you can build it so that if your flight is 5 minutes late, you can immediately claim that money like on the spot. And that's like revolutionary, right? But to do that on the blockchain, you need the data about the flight, that the flight is actually delayed. How do you get flight data onto the blockchain? You can use Gora.
Why did you sort of decide to build on Algorand?
Yeah, so we built on Algorand because when I actually started, I was doing sports fantasy, right?
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and I needed sports data on chain. If you know about sports, every match generates so much
Yeah,
data
and real time.
in real
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
It's
for sure.
crazy. And obviously, Ethereum's not very suited for it. There are other blockchains, that are fast and whatnot, but the instant finality, the never having downtime, these were like just so well built, right? And an underrated thing too is like the infrastructure to run an Algorand node is also so light, like anybody can run one on a regular computer, right? And so it's just mind-bogglingly good blockchain, right? That doesn't require heavy, you don't have to have 32 ETH or you don't have to have like a computer the size of a desk. And so it's just all around very well architected.
Very cool. Could you talk about maybe where you're driving impact? Like, would you say it's mostly in DeFi, gaming, RWAs?
Yeah, I mean, DeFi is the immediate. That's where majority of oracles is used,
Mhm.
transfer data, things like that. We're really trying to move a lot more into DePIN, so decentralized physical infrastructure networks, where you can have sensor data. So an example is in Europe, you now have to report your emissions verifiably. Now it's being done by you have these sensors installed by a specific company, and then you have to have the auditors come every few months, and the data has to be stored on premise. It's such an expensive thing to be compliant. With blockchain, you can have these sensors installed, and then the blockchain verifiably reports it from end to end. And now you don't have to have it on premise. You don't have to have auditors that keep coming. You don't have to have special companies doing the installation. And so having these sensor networks that are completely decentralized, I think this is going to be a really underrated but big upcoming space, especially for like monitoring fleets. Monitoring your fleets is another one. So we're really trying to drive impact in these kinds of areas.
Awesome. Can you maybe talk about sort of your roadmap? Do you have any upcoming alpha? Anything we should know?
So we've always been on Algorand. We've now just launched also on Ethereum. So you can get our data onto Ethereum. And generally, Ethereum is used by people who can afford the gas fees. And so we're also moving now to Base. So even though consensus is still happening on and around Algorand, we're now exporting to these different networks and really creating connections between these blockchains so that it can feel like it's just one big network instead of like multiple networks. Really, our growth is going to be trying to connect because we're not like a layer one blockchain, we're not a layer two, we're an oracle that can expand. So we're really going off to these different networks. The next thing we're trying to do is be as decentralized as possible. So right now, anybody can run a node. Anybody can stake whatever amount of the Gora token they want to a node. So the next thing is, handing over governance control, open sourcing, these kinds of things. Because, the more decentralized you are, the more that value is accrued by the stakeholders, by the community, by the data providers, by the node runners. And so that's been our ethos from day one. We're glad to make it a reality here in 2024.
Amazing. The next question is a little bit of a curveball. So, if you could have a podcast with anybody in Web 2 or Web 3, who would it be and why?
You.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that dream is already happening.
Yeah.
You had that. You have me. Who's next?
Yeah, so I'll give a couple examples maybe, or does that
Sure.
be one? One is a technical person like Silvio McCauley.
Okay,
Love to kind
we've
of
heard that a lot. That's a good one. Yeah.
yeah, pick his brain. A lot of people might not understand some of the content we talk about, but another one might be Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He's a controversial but interesting figure, very memeable guy. So would love to get him on a podcast and pick his brain on quite a few different things. And he's also fairly technical, so I can have a fun and technical conversation.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for the great interview. Make sure to follow Gora on all social media and stay tuned for more updates.